What is up, my friends? Seth here from Addicted to Aesthetics, coming back at you today to talk to you about building some muscle again. So part one of the series, I talked about how to build muscle. We have to go to the gym, train our asses off, and ensure that we are being progressive in our training. You know, we have to make sure that we are utilizing progressive overload when every single time we go to the gym, week in, week out, build the muscle. And if we can't cause progressive overload through getting stronger, then we have to then our next best option is by increasing our volume and just doing more work. So that was basically the whole gist of part one of the series. So, because that is the most important thing when it comes to building muscle. Now, in my humble opinion, the second most important thing that must be done in order to maximize hypertrophy, make those gains, is our nutrition. Our nutrition needs to be on point. Because, well, I mean, you already know where I'm going with this. Obviously, you have to have enough protein. Now, the reason why you have to eat enough protein is because in order to build muscle, muscle protein synthesis needs to be greater than muscle protein breakdown. When you go to the gym and you train, you break down your muscles. And so you need amino acids to fuel the process of muscle protein synthesis, to repair those muscles and to more than repair them and make them grow. Because that's actually why your muscles grow, is when your muscles go through the repair process, there's like a spillover effect. It's like the body doesn't realize that you're already recovered back to baseline yet, so it's still repairing before it realizes, okay, we're back to where we were before all this damage happened. And so that little bit of extra muscle repair that happens before your body realizes it, that spillover is muscle growth. So it's a very handy adaptation. Our bodies don't know or necessarily want us to be jacked. In fact, there's a chemical in our body, or I think it's even a protein, called myostatin, which actually inhibits muscle growth. So our bodies actually have a mechanism to not let us get too jacked. So, but anyways, so yeah, muscle protein synthesis. You have to eat enough protein for that to happen. And there's been research, a lot of research, that has shown that as long as you get 0.825 grams of protein per pound of body weight, that is sufficient enough to build muscle. But in my experience and what I've heard from people who know a lot more about this stuff than me, that going a little bit higher than that, like at least 1 gram of protein per pound, is going to be optimal. And there's even been some research suggesting that going as high as 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight can be a benefit. It's like, so basically what I would say is eat at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight when you're gaining, when you're mass gaining, at least. The only way you're gonna have too much protein is if you're eating like 2 times body weight in grams or more. So, and the reason why that would be too much is because if you ate that much protein, that would just be taking away from your carbs and your fats. You wouldn't be able to eat as many carbs if you ate that much protein. So you want your protein intake to be high, but not too high, because you want to save calories for carbs and fats, which are going to fuel your health and performance in the gym. So that's that. And as far as timing goes, it's pretty clear by now in the research that eating protein in that post-workout period is going to be very beneficial. The anabolic, they've kind of debunked the whole anabolic window theory. It's not like if you don't get protein in that within an hour of training that you won't build muscle. That's not true. But you do definitely want to be having protein, I would say, within an hour of working out, just to maximize your gains. If you haven't that's if you hadn't eaten protein like before you trained. So let's say if you trained at 4 and the last time you ate protein was at like noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it's like it was a few hours before you went to the gym, then I would say you definitely want to be getting in protein right after you're done training. But if you eat protein an hour or two before you go to the gym, there's still going to be amino acids in your bloodstream when you're training and whatnot, so it's not, you don't have to rush home or you don't have to, you know, slam a protein shake in the shower after the gym, or, you know, you'll be fine. You just go home and eat when you're ready to. So, and as far as frequency, I mean, the intermittent fasting studies and, you know, have kind of shown that the most important factor when it comes to protein intake is just your total grams for the day. So as long as you hit your total amount for the day, you're going to build muscle. But there's also been research suggesting that spreading that protein intake out throughout the day, so like, you know, a minimum of 3 up to like 3 to 6, 7 protein servings throughout the day, there's shown to be a benefit from that. I mean, and bros have been doing it for years, you know, all the big time bodybuilders, that's what they do. So, I mean, it can't hurt by any means, and it probably will help to spread out your protein intake a bit. And every time you eat protein, you want to make sure that you want to hit that leucine threshold. You want to be getting at least 3 grams of the amino acid, the branched chain amino acid leucine every time you have protein, because that will maximize the muscle protein synthesis response. And so basically that means you want to be getting in like 30 grams of a high quality protein source. So meat, eggs, egg whites, dairy products. Those are your highest quality protein sources. I mean, definitely. I mean, vegans are fighting an uphill battle when it comes to maximizing hypertrophy. You can do it on a vegan diet, but it's not going to be as easy to do. And it's very clear that the highest quality protein sources are eggs, whey, and then after that comes meat. So any kind of meat, any animal based, you know. So those are going to be your highest quality protein sources. And yeah, you want to shoot for at least 30 grams every time you have protein to maximize muscle protein synthesis. So that's protein. Now let's talk about calories. You know, we all know that to gain mass, you got to eat. You want to be eating in a surplus of calories to maximize muscle growth. Yes, you can build muscle in a deficit or eating at maintenance, but to maximize muscle growth, you have to be in a surplus. Now, there's really no reason to ever go higher than about 500 calorie surplus at the most, and that's if you're new, and you could actually gain a couple pounds of muscle per month naturally. But if you are not in your first year of training, then your best bet is going to be like a pound of muscle in a month, if that. So to gain a pound a month, you only need to be eating in like a 200 to 300 calorie surplus every day. So if you want to make lean gains, which is ideal, then you just eat 200 to 300 calories above maintenance every day, because you want to stretch out your bulks as long as possible, as many months as you can. You know, you want to be in a surplus way more often than you're in a deficit. You know, it should be like a 4-to-1 ratio. You know, you should have at least like 4 months of gaining for every month of cutting. And the only way you can bulk, you know, be in a surplus for that many months, is if you're not gaining body fat too fast. So that's why you want to be in just a slight surplus, you know. So you make the lean gains, and you'll just feel way better too, and you won't be disgusted with yourself if you get too fat. So yeah, that's all there really is to it for this topic, part 2 of the series. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for part 3, and I'm out.